Although I'm very new to the YouTube creator community, every once in a while, reviewers are presented with products that are so exceptionally good or exceptionally bad, the reviews almost write themselves. The NuPhy Halo75 V2 is a productivity keyboard that falls squarely into the exceptionally good category. Hey gamers, Minus10 here, and for the past week I've been using the NuPhy Halo75 V2 as my main Mac and work keyboard. Initially, I was going to let a few weeks go before filming this review, but the NuPhy 75 V2 is so outstanding, I was ready to write this review after only a couple days. So stay tuned to find out why I think the NuPhy 75 V2 is one of the best 75% keyboards in today's market, and that goes for gaming too. For a more thorough overview of the NuPhy Halo75 V2 features, check out the above video. In short, the NuPhy Halo75 V2 is a 75% keyboard layout that comes in 5 colors: Obsidian Black, Iconic White, Mojito, Blue Lagoon, and Sakura Fizz. With 4 different switches: Mint at 37 grams, Raspberry at 46 grams, Lemon at 55 grams, and Silent Red Clears at 45 grams. Connectivity-wise, gamers can plug the Halo75 V2 into your computer, or you can use its 2.4 GHz or Bluetooth wireless tech. Both wired and 2.4 GHz will give gamers 1000 Hz polling, but Bluetooth will drop this down to 125 Hz. For $130, the Halo V2 typing sound is stunning. I've spent hundreds of dollars more to build my own custom keyboards to only approach what the Halo75 V2 delivers right out of the box. NuPhy absolutely nailed the sound dampening, stabilizers, and lubrication to give the keyboard a resounding thwack and typing smoothness. One note, the lube appears to be quite minimal, but it's enough. The keyboard sounds and feels great. On this point alone, I give NuPhy a lot of respect for figuring out how to mass produce a keyboard with such a luxurious sound and pleasant typing experience. To achieve this sound, NuPhy's top case is aluminum with its bottom made from a solid feeling ABS plastic. The case is what we see and feel, but the real magic happens inside the keyboard. NuPhy uses 6 layers of sound dampening material, and at the core is a gasket mounted PCB that is sandwiched between 4 layers of foam, a bottom silicon, and the top layer gasket mount. Altogether, the NuPhy Halo75 V2 sound is an orchestra of well-placed and used materials. The sound is amazing. The stabilizers are attached to the top gasket layer. However, there is a noticeable wobble, which is surprising, but really doesn't impact the overall typing experience. If you have ever built a keyboard from the ground up, you will be dazzled by what NuPhy put into a mass production keyboard. It's truly impressive. The Halo75 V2 has 2 RGB settings, one for the keyboard and a second for the outside ring, which NuPhy calls auxiliary lighting. As with the sound, NuPhy's engineers did an outstanding job with the RGB lighting, and it's bright enough for daytime work, and in the evening it will add that RGB splash if you enjoy gaming in a darkened layer. As I haven't been able to get VIA to work on my PC or Mac, I've stuck with the stock lighting effects, which are mostly based upon the rainbow color scheme. To change the keyboard's backlighting settings, gamers use the FN plus left or right arrows. There are plenty of options, and I estimate there are about 42 different lighting settings. For the auxiliary lighting, I'm estimating there are about 9 options. To control the brightness, gamers use the FN up or down arrows, and there are 4 increments: 100, 75, 50, 25%, and off. As for the RGB brightness, at 100%, it's just the right amount, and it's not overly glaring. If you appreciate RGB, you're going to enjoy the Halo75 V2. NuPhy offers 4 different switch types, and I bought my keyboard with the NuPhy Lemon 55 gram switches. Although these are rated as tactile switches, they certainly feel like linear switches. Also, the 55 grams are quite light feeling. The Mint and Raspberry switches are both linear with 37 and 46 grams of force. If you do like a light switch, then I would go with the Mints, but if you like the heavier feel of tactile switches, you'll want to go with the Lemons. Lastly, gamers can buy the Silent Red Clear top switches, with 45 grams of force, but do note the tops are clear, so be ready for the full RGB light show. NuPhy's MSA keycaps are made from double-shot PBT materials and feel really nice. The keycaps don't have a rough feeling like you do find on some gaming keyboards, but the feel is great, and after a solid week of use, there isn't any greasy buildup. As for the MSA profile, it is an interesting approach to sizing each cap from the top rows to the bottom. Actually, it's brilliant and makes the typing experience very comfortable. The only thing to keep in mind is if you do decide to replace the keycaps, you'll need to do your homework and make sure you buy the right third-party keys if you go this route. Now, NuPhy does have replacement keycaps on its website. The Ghost Bar is another stunning feature of NuPhy keyboards, and it's gained quite a reputation for its sound. Underneath the space bar is a layer of silicone, which is a very nice touch. Within the space bar, the keycap has a noise reduction chambers at its ends, and at the center cherry mount that attaches to the switch, it has a silicon sound absorber. Absolutely awesome. If you're a touch typer, you're going to definitely enjoy long typing sessions with the NuPhy Halo75 V2. I didn't realize it when I unboxed the Halo75 V2, but NuPhy did include a few samples of their shine-through keycaps. Although they do let the RGB through, the overall feeling is rather cheap, and the smooth plastic, it feels a bit slimy. Not a big fan of these keycaps. I put my keyboards through heavy use cycles as I mostly work from home and my work days are very long. To close out the days, I usually game for an hour or two before heading to bed. The NuPhy Halo75 V2 comes with a 4000 milliamp battery, which is good enough to power the Halo75 V2 for a full 2 days of work and gaming with the RGB running at 100% on the 2.4 GHz dongle. If gamers turn down the RGB or turn it off, you'll get substantially longer battery life. But I was never worried about running out of juice. When I did get low, I just dropped in your average USB Type-C cable that I had nearby. They all work with the NuPhy Air75 V2. As for a battery indicator, NuPhy uses a light to give gamers an approximation of how much battery is left. To see how much battery is left, gamers need to hold down the FN plus the vertical key, and the Halo75 will flash a color on the upper left-hand side of the keyboard. Green is about 81 to 100%, yellow is 51 to 80%, orange is 21 to 50%, and red is below 20%. Whenever I hit red, I just plugged it in. As with the Air96 V2, I couldn't get the VIA software to work. One of our community members recommended to install a JSON file, but even through NuPhy and VIA's websites, I couldn't figure out how to install it. As I suspect most consumers of this keyboard won't be technically savvy, NuPhy needs to figure this out, or maybe just make their own keyboard app. No product is perfect, but the Halo75 V2 comes pretty close. The one recommendation I have for NuPhy is to provide more stock switch options and include heavier linear or clicky switches. I know clicky blues aren't for everyone, but there is a population of us gamers who do love them. Also, for work, a heavier linear or tactile switch would be a much more enjoyable experience to type on, for example, 65 gram switches. One note on the switches, my delete key did stick from time to time, and I replaced it with the spare that came in the box. After replacing the switch, I didn't have any problems afterwards. The clear keycaps I received with my Obsidian black keyboard are clear with a smoky tint. Although the RGB visual is a nice touch, the overall keycaps are just clear plastic and feel pretty slimy. For the review, I did put the shine-through keycaps on a couple switches, but I'll go back to the stock double-shot PBT keycaps once this video is posted. The final critique is I would recommend NuPhy to begin design and production of their own web-based app for their keyboards. For the average Halo75 V2 user, knowing how to add a JSON file is a bridge too far. Even I couldn't figure it out. As such, this makes VIA pretty much useless. I am confident that a company like NuPhy that is so good at designing and manufacturing keyboards can also make a decent web app like Wootility for the Wooting gaming keyboards. So to wrap this all up, NuPhy created a productivity keyboard masterpiece that gamers can also use in their favorite games. The keyboard sound and typing experience is sublime. The double-shot PBT keycaps and lemon switches feel great under the fingertips, and the switch lube is smooth all the way to the bottom. The RGB is bright enough to satisfy those who want an RGB disco ball to those who just want a subtle splash, and the battery with RGB maxed out will give you enough juice for a couple days of use. If you're the type of gamer who wants a keyboard more for productivity with the occasional gaming session on the side, at $130, the NuPhy Halo75 V2 is a keyboard that should be near the top of your consideration list. If you enjoyed this review on the NuPhy Halo75 V2, I'd really appreciate a like on the video as well as a sub if you would like to follow me as a content creator. All comments below are welcome too. Thanks for watching.